and welcome back. My name is Edshara, and today I'm going to be sharing what I read at the end of June. Alright, so the first book that I have is The Humming Room by Ellen Potter, and this was the Secret Garden retelling, and as far as retellings go, it was okay. It stuck pretty close to the original. The author did introduce some new ideas that I wish she had expanded upon. I think it would have made the story more unique. However, it just ended up feeling like a copy with a few substitutions here and there. I did end up giving this one 2 stars. I thought the characters were pretty generic and it just lacked the whimsy and magic of the original Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and I would say you can skip this one. I also picked up Sing For Me by Karen Halvorsen Schreck. This was the second Christian fiction book that I had for the month, and it started out really good, but then after several chapters it got a little bit boring, or I got a little bit restless. I think once the foundation was set and I knew all the characters and how everybody felt about certain things, I kind of just wanted to get to the end and see how everything ended up. But towards the end it did pick back up and I really enjoyed how things wrapped up. I did give this one 3 stars. I will say that this one does focus heavily on sort of the religious idea that if the music isn't Christian, then it is bad. And so I really enjoyed watching Rose, the main character, kind of make her own decisions and come to her own realizations about her faith and what she believed. And I also liked that while the author presented this idea, you could tell that that wasn't necessarily her point of view, and it also wasn't a point of view she was trying to force on anyone, just by the things that Rose did throughout the book. Also, Rose ends up falling for an African American man, and since this book takes place in 1930s Chicago, that's not necessarily okay. And so I really enjoyed seeing their relationship and how it grew and changed throughout the course of the book. The ending wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but taking into account the time period, it was understandable. Next up, I have Greetings from Witness Protection by Jake Burt, and this was one of my favorites of the month. I ended up giving this one 5 stars, I do believe. I thought that the story was unique, it was funny and suspenseful, it had some heartfelt moments. I loved watching this group of characters that started out as strangers band together and become a family, and I really loved Nikki as a main character. I thought she was pretty positive for someone who had endured a lot of hardships. I thought that the author could have easily made her the stereotypical angry teenager, and I'm so glad that he didn't. This is a good look at family and friendship and doing the right thing and being honest even in the face of severe adversity, and I would highly recommend this one if the synopsis interests you. I also read Barbara Neely's Blanche on the Lamb, and this was another one that I enjoyed. I gave it 4 stars, and Blanche was everything that I wanted her to be. She was funny and sassy, and she was caring, and other than the fact that she went on the run in the first place, she was pretty darn smart. And it was nice to see a middle-aged African-American woman that everybody was kind of looking down on, solve the crime and kind of best everybody at the same time. I loved that. The writing was pretty well done. I did have a little bit of an issue with some of the author's word choices. I did go over that in my Goodreads review, so if you want to know more, please feel free to check it out on Goodreads. The mystery was also really good. I wasn't expecting everything that happened at the end, so I was glad about that. And I just hope that my library has the rest of the books in the series, because I definitely want to continue this series. Also, thank you very much to the lovely subscriber who mentioned that she was listening to the audiobook version of this, because I was able to find it on the Hoopla app and I listened to it while I followed along in the physical book, and it made the reading experience so much better. The narrator of the audiobook does a great job of bringing the characters to life, and I loved every minute of that. So I love this and I'd recommend it. Then I have Strange Fruit Volume 1, Uncelebrated Narratives from Black History with Words and Pictures by Joel Christian Gill. And this was another one that I really enjoyed. I can't remember if I gave it 4 stars or 5 stars, but I do know I rated it high. Other than the first story, which featured Henry Box Brown, all of the other stories were new to me. And so I learned a lot about African American history, which is always fun. And I loved the book as a whole. I thought that the author did a really good job of illustrating and, getting his point across. I thought that he was able to add a little bit of fun to some stories that featured some pretty hard issues through his illustrations, and this is another one that I would highly recommend, and I hope that my library has volume 2 because I definitely want to continue this series as well. The last book is one that I'm still currently reading. It's also my TBR pick of the month and my buddy read with Mary Ellen from Portraits of Me, and it is Everlost by Neal Shusterman. I only have part 4 to finish, so I'm almost done. So far, the book is amazing. I really enjoy Neal Shusterman's writing style in this book. I love his world building and how he's taken all of these little pieces and joined them together to create this story. I'm really enjoying the characters and, kind of learning about his version of, the afterlife. And I'm definitely expecting the end to blow me away. I can't wait to read it and see, how everything turns out and how he sets up for the second book in this series. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this off. I'll definitely have a review over on Goodreads. The next couple of books are ones that came after my library haul. Between the time that I finish these books and the time that they are due back at the library, I know I'm not going to have time to film, so you will not see video reviews for these, but like everything else, you can always check out my reviews on Goodreads. And if you're not friends with me on Goodreads, you should totally send me a friend request. But first up, we have Bob by Wendy Mass and Rebecca Stead, and this is about a girl who is going to visit her mother, or grandmother I should say, in Australia, and it's been 5 years since the last time that she was there. And the last time she was there, she promised this little green creature that's dressed in a chicken suit that she would help him figure out who he was and where he belonged. And so as she arrives, he expects to make her keep her promise. And it's also illustrated by Nicholas Gannon, and the illustrations are nice. Let's see if I can find one. Where is it? Okay, here it is. The illustrations are really nice. So I am interested in giving that a read. I also have The Problem Children by Natalie Lloyd, and this one follows a family of seven children, and they live in the swampy woods, and their little bungalow explodes, so they have to go into town and move into their grandfather's abandoned house, and they run into some problems with the neighbors who do not like the problem family, and they end up threatening them with separating them and sending them to 7 different continents. So this one seems like it'll be pretty quirky, and I'm already reading it and I can't wait to finish it. The last one I have is Front Desk by Kelly Yang, and this one follows our main character Mia. Her and her parents have immigrated to the U.S. from China, and 2 years into their stay here in America, the parents get the opportunity to manage a small hotel, and Mia ends up helping them at the front desk. And this is one that I saw all over Twitter, so I've been really eager to give it a read, and it's super cute. So I look forward to this one. And the last book that I have to talk about is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This was another one that I was on hold for, but I wasn't expecting it to come so soon. This is a retelling of the biblical account of Hosea and his wife Gomer, and it's a bit of a chunker, so I do think I'm going to have to include this in my Tome Topple TBR, just because it's due back a couple of days after the Tome Topple ends, but I already know I can't renew it because the hold list was so long. Speaking of the Tome Topple, when it ends on July 12th, I think I'm going to take a bit of a breather from reading. If I do decide to read, it's going to be, you know, some of my unread books, or maybe do a couple of rereads, just because I have read a lot of books this month and in the month of May. So I just kind of want to take a bit of a breather. So I will not have a July library haul. I am tentatively thinking about participating in the Booktubeathon, which happens, I think, at the end of July and into August. I haven't made a decision as of yet. I kind of want to see what the challenges are, as well as what my mood is when that time kind of comes around, but I'll let you guys know when that happens. And that's all that I have for today. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, God bless. Bye. And the ending of that story, I was like, yes! In your face!